Welcome back to the Reality Guys. I'm your host Brian, and tonight I'm talking Summer House. This is season 8, episode 4. All right, before we get started, because again, this is like going to be probably the theme of the entire season. We have Carl and Lindsay fighting drama. Other things happen in the episode. I don't know if they matter as much as what happened again tonight. I'm going to run down chronologically. I kind of wrote down some of their like conversations. I tried to transcribe it as best I could, but here we go. So no page this weekend. So I think she'll be back next week. They hinted that Craig is also going to be coming next week because they actually do talk to Jesse at the dinner that they go on Friday night, saying like, "Hey, like we know that you touched your leg. Like maybe you should chill out a little bit." Like very interested to see how the first interaction with Craig and Jesse goes. Um, yeah, it's gonna be very interesting for that. But again, I just don't know if it's gonna matter. I think the big like sun of this whole season is just going to outshine and like dwarf everything else that's going on, all these side drama. So essentially, they go out on Friday night for dinner. Amanda goes home immediately. According to Carl, Carl was thinking about going out, then he changed his mind. They go home. They take a lift. Got to stress that it was a lift. Carl, make sure that remind us later in the episode that it was a lift. Um, Apparently, her and Lindsay and Carl take this lift home for some odd reason. Again, there's no footage. They're not mic'd up at all. Don't get that. I think next season that needs to be a thing. Like if they're driving somewhere, you got to throw a mic on them. This is getting ridiculous that we don't have any of this. It's just a ton of he said, she said. And it's obviously I'm leaning a little bit towards Carl because he is not under the influence of something. So I kind of have to give him the benefit of the doubt of I guess like what she says because a lot of times Lindsay was changing her story and changing the things that she said to multiple people tonight. I don't know if anybody else noticed that, but I was losing track of the things that she was claiming that she said that actually happened. And I thought Carl really he to me was very consistent about what he said and what he told people. So they come back from the restaurant. Apparently, she claims that he was poking her. He was like getting under her skin or something like that. She asked she and also he smokes weed apparently. I didn't know that was a thing when you're sober that you can smoke weed, but again, I think if you're smoking weed, you're usually pretty happy. Honestly, you're not like kind of a jerk. So I'm very surprised by like she's using it like she's using like honestly as a weapon, like the way that she's talking to him and like getting mad when he's like, "How many drinks have you had?" Because I mean, I thought they did a really good job tonight of showing how often Lindsay's drinking at like what times of the day. He claims that she said again, "What do you want?" And if this happened the week before, and she claimed that she didn't, she again says like she's referring to the weed, like she's saying that in hindsight now in these confessionals, and then when she's kind of gets called out a little bit or like questioned by like Gabby and like Amanda later in the episode, that's when the stories just kind of start to change a little bit, and it it's really hard to watch honestly, and like we know the outcome of the situation, but it's just not. It's uncomfortable honestly. It's really uncomfortable because obviously we don't know the full story. Maybe Carl is a jerk. I mean, it probably is super annoying that Carl doesn't have a job. Like I can totally get that could be annoying if you're like technically supporting the relationship, you're doing all the work, whatever that may be, because they just under her name is always influencer. Like, what does that mean? But it's the same. Yeah, I can totally understand that portion. That's probably the only thing I can understand on her side. If they're planning a wedding, he's not working at all. I get that, but that might be like 5%, but it's still like Carl's getting this. Just feel bad for the dude. I really do. The next morning, not even I don't even think it was the next morning. It actually might have been at night when they're about to go to sleep. They're arguing again. She compares him to Sandoval, and that's when I was just like, this chick sucks so much. Like she just I saw a tweet online that someone was like, she's trying to be like Ariana is on Vanderpump Rules, like having like her moment or something like that. But like, I don't know how she's watching this back and it feels good about anything that's happening. But again, like she doesn't take accountability for anything whatsoever in any situation. Like Carl again today said sorry a couple times, was always trying to initiate the conversation. She's never trying to initiate the conversation. I don't know. It's been what, four? They've been in 3 episodes at the house, and it's been rough. She also accuses him of gaslighting too in the same conversation with Sandoval. Um, and then later, like I said, when he goes to sleep in another room, he goes to sleep in the smush room. Um, she goes down, starts talking to Amanda about it. Amanda's just like she's in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like she just becomes the she has to listen to everything that they're saying. Um, and then the next morning, which I do appreciate, Carl does address like, "Hey, I'm sorry, there's no footage because we're in a lift. I guess if it's not a car by them, then there's no footage. But still, like they got to get mics on. They really got to get mics on. Yeah, then they're just the next morning they're not talking to each other. Like, and I mean, I'm married. I've been in a situation where you and my wife have definitely been in an argument. I mean, obviously never on this level, but like you're trying to do those things where you like help her open the door or like just little tiny things to kind of get in, and she's not biting on any of them. um they're both like just, yeah, I think Jesse said it like had a funny confessional where he's like, if this is what engagement is like, it's supposed to be a happy time, but this is what's like, why would you ever want to do it? And I was like, yeah, if you're not engaged and you're watching this, like this is not what it's supposed to be like at all. It should not be like that. And it's just the house keeps saying like it's their communication. I mean, I think Lindsay definitely drinks way too much and she's definitely aggressive. I mean, we've all watched the eight seasons of this. We know how she is. I don't know why Carl thinks that would have changed, but again, maybe like this is like they're in a pretty serious relationship. You don't talk to somebody like that, even if like you're accusing them of just whatever. It's just, and she's just saying that it's a comparison thing. Like, yeah, if you're going to accuse me of how much I'm drinking, like I can, and I'm just like, I, I don't know. I do not agree. I really do not agree. They got the cowfish later that day. Carl and Lindsay finally talk. It does not go well. They go out on a dock, and Lindsay, this is where she like kind of is like bouncing around the story. This is where she claims that she's like, I never said you were on something. I said, are you on weed? And I was like, that's just not true. Maybe you said that last night in the cap. You did not say that last week. We can hear you. And I said earlier, Carl does need the job. Like this is, it's definitely weird. I can get in a relationship how you be resentful of that, but it still doesn't excuse this behavior. I, I just don't know how anybody's defending her. And I was watching Watch What Happened Live for a little bit afterwards, and Trishelle's on, and she's sitting right next to Carl, and she's like, "Yeah, sorry, I'm still Team Lindsay." And I'm just like, "Whoa, like that is alarming. That's alarming, especially to say it in front of him after like you guys were watching the same show, and it's just like, yikes." That to me was a yikes moment. That conversation kind of ends with, I'm sorry I'm bouncing around here, but like Lindsay and Carl, where they're talking on the dock, she gets up like he is raising his voice, but I mean he's annoyed, and like his sobriety is super important to him, and to be constantly accused that you're not following that sobriety, I can understand how he's frustrated and he's raising his voice because she doesn't fucking listen. Like she really doesn't. Those conversations must be like so exhausting to be a part of. Honestly, they must be so exhausting. She gets up and leaves. She goes and talks to Kyle and Danielle. Danielle's like, I don't want to be a part of this right now. And like, that's, you got to be Switzerland in this fight for a little bit. You can't choose a side yet. There's still too many weeks. There's too many weeks in the summer yet. You can't choose a side. But she's talking to Kyle, and Kyle said something that, I mean, I love that he said it because it was great. He's like, and it's funny coming from him because he used to be a drunk. I mean, he still can be a very drunk asshole, but he was like, the way he said to her, the way you were acting last week. He says like, yeah, you have been irrational at times. Like, when have I been irrational? And he was like, you were wildly irrational last week. They didn't show a response. Like she kind of just made a face. They didn't show a response. But I don't. Do I think that'll like hit her? No, absolutely not. She probably won't even care. But yeah, it is. It's rough. It really is rough. I've said every review that I've done. Like I'm just surprised that it's we literally got to episode 2 and we're like, man, they're going to be fighting all season. I don't see how it gets better. And I'm still trying to wonder where in the show, because she claims she was blindsided. I'm trying to figure out where in the show, unless like he does like some forgiveness crap, or where he like tries to like, yeah, it's my fault, or something like that, or he says I. But it's impossible because he was on Watch What Happens Live today, and he said that he's been three years sober. But I mean, I guess not including weed or THC. But I don't. I'm trying to figure out where and when and what would have to happen for us to kind of swing maybe back to Lindsay's side. At least for me, I'm like, I hate Carl. I mean, if anybody knows, like, I haven't reviewed the show, but I've said it on multiple shows that we've done. I think Carl sucks. I think they both suck, but I didn't like Carl. I don't like either. I don't like Carl either. And it's like, if I'm so heavily leaning on Carl here, I mean, that says something about Lindsay. Like, I do not. It's yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it gets. I don't. It, I'm just almost like gasping sometimes with like the way that she says stuff and just says it so willy nilly and like like I said before I'm married, I could never say those things to my wife, even if I was mad, annoyed at her, mad. I would never say like I would never say those things. Even my friends, I would never talk to somebody like that, even if they are being a jerk or something. Like saying those type of things are nuts. Like that's taken to a level that's like an unforgivable level, and like it's happened 2 weeks in a row, 2 3 weeks in a row. I mean, it's crazy. It's really crazy, but yeah, I mean, it's great TV for us. Honestly, it's very fun. I'm really enjoying the season so far. I hope you guys are too. And if I missed anything in the episode, there was a funny thing I did write down. Carl did do a pencil dive. That was really funny that they actually got on video when Lindsay was talking to him, and I thought that was really good. Um, Very funny, just a funny moment. Not many ones where there's like a background moment that's funny like that, but it was funny. Lindsay or Ciara and Wes are kissing, hanging out, cuddling. Again, cool. I just don't think it's gonna get overshadowed by this huge plot. But I mean, it's fun to watch. I'm enjoying it. Um, it's great. I'm having a good time. And like I said, if you have any comments, drop them below. Any show suggestions, let us know as well. And I think the next one I will have out is Jersey Shore. We did get delayed on because we had Love Is Blind reunion on Wednesday, so we still need to do our Survivor. We still need to do our Amazing Race. Um, in my opinion, Survivor's been absolutely terrible. So like, I will get to it when we get to it. I'm not in a rush over here. Farmer Wants a Wife will also have probably tomorrow as well. And I'll have Ready to Love as well. So Friday we're gonna have a ton of stuff for we're gonna have a busy Friday night recording. So we will definitely have some things out. So anything that you're used to, we are trying to be as timely as possible, but after Love Is Blind, it's obviously going to take precedent over those other shows, even though it was Amazing Race premiere. Love Is Blind is like God right now on reality TV. So yeah, appreciate everyone for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a good night. See ya.